Dark Shadows, number 24, VTR 71466, Air 72866, take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. An attempted murder has made the house on Widow's Hill the center of a web of confusion. A web that tugs on many people and draws them closer to its core. A young girl tormented by increasing doubts and uncertainties. A man wavering between the opposite poles of instinct and
Morning,
fact.
Maggie.
Well, hello, Mr. Carter. Well, how's the police force today?
Its feet hurt.
Well, what can I do for you? We got a lunch special. It's lobster roll, coleslaw,
No
fried
sale,
potatoes.
Maggie. I'm looking for Burke Devlin. You haven't seen him, have you?
Why?
Well, I haven't seen him since he came to town. I'd like to say hello, that's all.
Did you try his hotel room?
He's not there. You haven't seen him, have you, Maggie?
Well, a couple of hours ago. Not since.
Did he say where he was going?
Nope. Mr. Carter, do you always go around chasing people just to say hello?
If he comes in, Maggie, tell him I'm looking for him, all right? I'll be in the hotel lobby.
Mr. Carter, would this have anything to do with that automobile accident?
I'll be in the lobby.
No, you mean that. 2 minutes. Okay, Joe, I'll hold you to it. I'll order for you. A medium. Right. See you soon.
Oh,
Hello, Maggie.
hi.
See that table over there?
You mean the one that shows where you spend all your money?
Uh-huh. I'll want 2 hamburgers, medium, 2 coffees.
Hey, you eating for 2 these days?
Very funny. You I don't need.
Say, Carolyn.
More jokes?
No, I wanted to ask you something. Look, who are you meeting here? Is it Burke Devlin?
Where'd you get that idea?
Well, I know you were with him last night.
Doesn't everybody in this town know everything I do?
Well, my dad told me. But the constable was here just a while ago. He's looking for Burke.
Oh,
Well, I don't know what it's about, but
I know what it's about, Maggie. Remember, medium on the hamburgers.
Carolyn,
Maggie, what would you want me to do? Tell Burke to run? What are you so interested in him for, anyway? I didn't know you knew him that well.
Well, I don't know. It's just, well, it's my father.
You lost me.
Well, it doesn't matter.
No, wait a minute. What's the connection between your father and Burke?
Well, he used to pose for my pop when he was a kid. You know, before he went to prison. Well, as a matter of fact, Burke just asked my pop to do a portrait of him.
Oh? Well, he's not meeting me, but Joe Haskell is, and he doesn't have much time for lunch.
Carolyn, in the row between your uncle and Burke, was my dad's name ever mentioned?
Why should it be?
Well, there's really no reason. I was just wondering. That's all.
Well, here I am. Where's my lunch? Hi, honey.
Hi.
Come on, let's get the show on the road, Maggie. I've got exactly 45 minutes.
Oh, it's my fault, Joe. I was gabbing. Coming right up.
Now, what was all the important talk about?
Burke Devlin. And the constable.
Burke? you, Burke.
Jonas. Jonas Carter. It's good to see you again.
Thanks.
How have you been? Still keeping the peace?
Not much to do except sit behind a desk, Burke. How are you enjoying your stay in Collinsport?
Having a ball. Have you had your lunch yet? Why don't you come in and join me?
I'll take a rain check, Burke. I would like to have a talk with you.
Oh. Well, why don't you come in the restaurant and watch me eat then?
I'd rather talk in your room, Burke.
Sure. Look, I'll just go check, see if I got any mail. Then I'll get a sandwich and a container of coffee, okay?
Okay, I'll wait.
You sure I can't get you anything?
No, just want to have a little talk, Burke. That's all.
Well, there you are. 2 hamburgers, medium. Took a while, but it's worth waiting for.
Thanks, Maggie. Okay, now tell me, when did your uncle decide to call the police?
This morning. I am hungry.
You think Devlin was responsible for the accident?
Look, Joe, do me a favor. Let's not talk about it. I'm sick and tired of the whole thing.
Including Devlin?
Especially Devlin.
Good. Then maybe you'll talk about us. I was looking at boats this morning.
Of course you were. You work for the fishing fleet.
Not your mother's boats, idiot. A boat. I got up at 6 o'clock. I went down to the yard. Carolyn, there's a honey there. About 20 years old, but in great shape. Well, it'll need some work, but, boy, it's just what I've been looking for.
Can you afford it?
That's the point. I may be able to afford it in just a couple of months.
Oh, I thought you said it would take at least another year to get enough money for the down payment.
Maybe it can happen sooner. There's another fella down at the plant, Jerry Gerse. I don't think you know him. Anyway, Jerry's got the same idea I do, to get his own boat and be his own boss.
What about him?
Well, Jerry and I got to talking, and the thing is this. If we go in on this together, if we pool our money, we'll be able to get a boat in a couple of months.
Oh, that sounds marvelous. If you can trust him.
Oh, Jerry's a great guy. You like him. He's a lot like me. There's only one difference. He married his girl.
Now look, Joe.
Okay, I know you don't want to talk about getting married.
Oh, Joe, I can't even think about it. Especially now with all that fuss going on up at the house.
Well, that's between your uncle and Devlin. Now, what's that got to do with you?
Joe, I've asked you not to pressure me. Please don't.
Yeah, I'm getting a little fed up with it myself.
Burke, did you come through the hotel?
Oh, hi, Maggie. How about fixing me a ham and cheese and a container of coffee, black, to go, huh?
Well, the constable was looking for you.
That's so, huh? Well, probably wanted to sell me a couple of tickets to the bazaar.
Well, I don't think that was it, because he's...
Maggie, let's have an agreement, huh? You stick to fixing my sandwich, and I'll take care of my life of crime, all right? Butter and mustard, no less. Hi, kids. How's the good life?
Hello, Burke.
If you want to join us, the answer is no.
Well, that's not very friendly.
I didn't mean it to be friendly.
How's your uncle this morning?
Much better.
What do you want, Devlin?
Joe, I just wanted to know how long you two expected to be here, that's all.
Yeah, why?
Joe will be going back to his office in about a half hour.
What about you?
I'm going home.
Half hour, huh? Okay, thanks.
Someday, Carolyn, someday I'm gonna punch that guy right in the mouth.
You sure you're not hungry? I'd be glad to split this with you.
I'm fine, thanks. I don't think they've changed the furniture in these rooms for 20 years.
Hell, I wouldn't know. When I left town, I couldn't even afford a broom closet in this hotel.
You've done pretty well for yourself, haven't you, Burke?
You want to talk about the accident, don't you?
That's right.
I had nothing to do with it, you know.
I don't know anything yet. I'm gonna find out.
Well, if you talk to Roger Collins, he'll tell you I tried to kill him.
But you didn't.
Look, I'm a peace-loving man. I came back to Collinsport for a visit, not to tamper with somebody's brakes.
You've changed your tune from 10 years ago, Burke.
You remember, huh?
That's what I get paid for. I remember a young man who was committed for attempted manslaughter. I remember what he said when the jury brought in the verdict.
I really blew my top, didn't I?
Quote, "I'll get you, Collins, no matter what I do. You'll be sorry you ever took that witness stand, etc., etc." You threatened to kill him, Burke.
And I would have done it 10 years ago. Not today.
No grudges?
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly. But I don't want to kill him.
You know what happened to Collins' car, Burke?
Yes, I do. Somebody removed the valve from the master brake cylinder, wasn't that it?
That's right. Used a wrench to do it with. Your fingerprints were on that wrench.
You mean my fingerprints were on a wrench, don't you?
All right, Burke. Suppose you tell me what happened.
Well, I went up to the house. I saw Roger Collins and his sister. I had a very pleasant talk, and then I left.
After asking Roger to meet you in town.
That's right. I wanted to discuss a business deal with him.
How'd you figure he was going to get into town?
Drive, of course.
Well, after inviting him to drive into town, you left the house. Then what?
Then I went into the garage.
Why?
Well, I've been thinking about buying a car. I knew Roger Collins had a car, and I wanted to look at it.
That's going to sound mighty peculiar on the witness stand, Burke.
We'll never get to the witness stand, and you know it.
I don't know anything yet. Go on.
Well, I was looking over his car. I even opened the door and got behind the wheel to see how it felt. That's when I noticed the wrench.
So you just picked it up just to keep Roger's car nice and neat and clean, huh?
Have you ever sat on a wrench, Mr. Carter? Sure, I picked it up. Then I got out of the car, closed the door, and I was about to throw it on the workbench when the girl came along, the kid's tutor. We talked for a while, and then I left, and that's it.
Collins said there was no wrench in the seat of that car.
Well, then maybe you better find out who put it there, instead of wasting your time with me.
Don't worry about my time, Burke. That's what I get paid for. What next?
Well, then I came back here, changed my clothes, had something to eat, and then I went over to the Blue Whale to wait for Roger to show up.
Who couldn't make it because he was being dragged out of that wreck.
Mr. Carter, I've taken lots of risks since I left this town. That's how I made my money. Taking risks. One thing I never did was place a bet on a dead horse.
I'm just a country boy, Burke. You'll have to translate that one.
Well, do you think I would jump into a river if I knew I couldn't swim? Just think about that. Suppose I wanted Roger Collins dead. Suppose I tampered with his car, which I didn't, but suppose I did. And there I was, standing in the garage with a wrench in my hand, and someone comes along and sees me. You think I'd be stupid enough to go through with it?
There wasn't much else you could do.
Oh, come on, Constable. You're not that much of a country boy, I know that. I'd have told Roger not to come into town. I'd have tried to find some way to put the valve back. But one thing I wouldn't have done is come back here and wait for you to come up here and ask me questions.
Do I worry you that much, Burke?
You don't worry me at all. But I'm up to here with all these accusations. I didn't come back to Collinsport for that.
What did you come back for?
Certainly not to commit a murder.
That's no answer, Burke. You told me why you didn't come back. I want to know why you did.
Well, back to the old grind.
Joe, I'm sorry.
What for?
Oh, I think I spoiled your excitement a little. About the boat, I mean.
Oh, I mean, that's an old story and I'm used to it. It's the new ones that needle me.
Like what?
Well, like a fella named Devlin.
Oh, Joe, you're letting him bother you too much. He's not that important, believe me. Look, right now, I don't have much use for Burke, so...
Here's your change, Joe.
Oh, thanks, Maggie.
Say, were you two just talking about Burke?
What about it?
Oh, nothing. Except he just phoned. He said he'd like to have Carolyn drop up to his hotel room for a few minutes.
He what?
Don't worry, Joe. There's a chaperone. The Constable.
Miss Stoddard, having you drop up here like this was Burke's idea, not mine. I see no reason in involving you in any of this.
We all need our evidence, Mr. Carter. You have your fingerprints. I have Carolyn.
I don't understand.
Mr. Carter and I were discussing the reasons I came back to Collinsport. I told him it was a pleasure trip. It had nothing to do with harming your family. As a matter of fact, I didn't expect to see your family at all.
You were there.
Sure, I was there. But the idea was not my own. Ask Carolyn. Now, she's a member of that family. That family that I'm supposed to be planning to ruin. Do you think she would lie for me?
Would you, Miss Stoddard?
Certainly not.
Carolyn, just before you took me up to Collinwood, did you come here to see me?
Yes.
Had I asked you to come?
No.
She just walked in, unplanned, uninvited. Isn't that right?
Yes.
At the end of your visit, how did you get home?
You drove me.
At whose suggestion?
Mine.
Why don't you tell the constable what I said when you made that suggestion?
Well, you said you didn't think it would be a good idea, that my family wouldn't want to see you, and you felt it would be better if you stayed away from them while you were in town.
But I did go up to Collinwood with you, didn't I? As Mr. Carter says, I was there. Why don't you tell him why I went with you?
I insisted. I said I wouldn't leave unless you went with me. I wish I'd never asked you.
At the moment, so do I. No master plan, Mr. Carter. Carolyn insisted I go up to Collinwood, and that's the only reason I went. Not to try to harm Roger Collins.
Well, it's all very neat, Bert. It doesn't prove a thing.
Neither does anything that you have. Look, I came to Collinsport for a visit, period. And right now, I wish I could get out of here as fast as I could.
Well, I wouldn't go away for a while if I were you.
Are you going to arrest me?
No, but I wouldn't take any sudden long trips. Are you coming, Miss Stoddard?
No. I want to talk to Burke.
Thanks, Carolyn. I'm sorry I had to use you in that way.
Use me? You're lucky I didn't tell the constable how you did use me.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me to come up here, Burke, because I wanted to have this out with you anyway.
Everything you told him was the truth.
How about you? How much truth did you tell him?
You think I caused that accident?
Oh, I don't know whether you did or not. But you sure played me for a Class A idiot.
You lost me.
All that talk, all that big, nice talk. You were only here for a visit. No grudges against the family. You were leaving in a couple of days. I swallowed it, Burke. Every bit of it. And that's why I brought you up to the house.
So?
So, I spoke with Maggie Evans a little while ago, and she told me your father was going to begin doing a portrait of you.
Oh.
That's right, Burke. Oh. You told me you were leaving town in a couple of days. Now, how were you planning to have your portrait painted? By long distance?
My plans changed.
Did they, Burke?
Believe me, everything I told you was the truth.
I wish I could believe that.
You can.
Burke, tell me the truth. Did you try to kill my uncle?
I did not. Hello? Yes, this is Devlin. Bronson, where are you calling from? You certainly did make it fast. No, I don't want you to come here. It might be too risky. Look, check into a hotel in Bangor, and I'll get down there as soon as I can. Did you bring everything I asked you for? All right, check in, and I'll meet you in about an hour and a half, okay? We may have even less time than I thought. Right.
Where the Action Is made its debut 1 year ago with top recording stars performing Where the Fun Is. Come along for a real good time next here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.